Hey folks, welcome to Leader Talk. I'm your host, SEAC retired John Wayne Troxell. Welcome to another episode here. So this past Tuesday, the 5th of November, we had our national election. Former President Donald Trump was elected and will be the 47th President of the United States come January 20th, 2025. This episode is about post-election thoughts. The first thing I want to kind of talk about is, the outcome. Not only did the president-elect win the popular vote and the electoral vote, but it looks like the Republicans, they're going to take the Senate and potentially could take the House. So it could be a clean sweep. But the bottom line here is the American people have spoken. And when you look at the numbers that the president-elect gained, the number of women that voted for him, the number of Hispanics, African Americans, the number of young men that voted for him, it's clear to me that the American people are looking for change. Change from what they had been going through for the last 3+ years. They were tired of the high grocery bills, high gasoline prices, high interest rates. There was a lot of disdain from veterans and those in the military about the way we left Afghanistan. When people see Chinese balloons flying across our country unfettered, they get concerned of that. And then certainly the border crisis, where millions of illegals have been allowed to enter this country between our ports of entry. And not only are they allowed to live here, but we, the federal government, are financing their ability to live here. The bottom line, the American people were done with that. They knew that things had gone too far, and it's time for change. It's time for more discipline, more accountability, more structure. And in the end, the other side was campaigning on it's time for change. Well, the American people saw what had been going on for the last 3+ years. And when you are a part of that, or at least culpable to it as the vice president, people see that and well, you're talking about change, but why didn't you change in the last 3.5 years? So the bottom line is the American people made a decision, and they made a decision to go in a direction with someone that is a former president, 2017 to 2021, and someone that they are confident in that will get this nation on the road where it needs to be, with strong borders, strong national security, strong foreign policy, and the ability to get the economy under control. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, let's talk about what happened with the Democratic Party and what went wrong on why the American people went in another direction. But first, let's hear from our sponsors at Downrange Supplements.
Downrange Supplements. As the brand of the troops, we produce only the highest quality supplements conducive to mission effectiveness. Whether it's our fully dosed pre-workout, recovery and rehydration, or Mermite protein, it's time to continually improve your fighting position with Downrange Supplements. Go to www.downrangesups.com today and take your training to the next level.
Hey folks, welcome back to Leader Talk. I'm SEAC retired John Wayne Troxell. Doing a short episode today to give you some post-election thoughts today from me. So in this segment, I want to talk about what went wrong for the Democrats and how they lost this election. Well, first of all, when you campaign saying that, hey, we are the party of joy and, vote for us and, everything is going to be great and it's going to be beer and Skittles and all this stuff. But then you spew hate to your opponent. And especially after your opponent has had 2 assassination attempts against them. The American people are going to see through it. You can't say, hey, we're the party of joy, and then start spewing hate about your opponent. But more importantly, for people who don't vote the way you think. So for anybody that was a centrist or an independent or a conservative that was potentially thinking about voting the Democratic way on the Democrat side, when they hear things like all of the president-elect supporters are garbage or deplorables or something like that, it's going to have an impact. And you're not going to scare someone into voting for you by using a disparaging remark about them or someone that they are potentially going to vote for. You're going to drive them into the direction to vote for your opponent. And that's what happened this week. You know, the other thing is anybody that's running for election, especially for the president of the United States, they're going to have influential people that are going to come out and show their support for them. But when you focus on bringing high-end celebrities and athletes who live a lifestyle that is significantly better and more prosperous than the vast majority of Americans, and when they start seeing things like, or hearing things like, well, you're going to have to give up a little bit so others can get and everything. And this is coming from a person that has hundreds of millions of dollars. It doesn't pass the common sense test. And the American people are going to see through it. I think sometimes some of these candidates and some of these campaigns think that the American people either aren't paying attention, or I think in some cases they think that the American people are aloof to what's going on. And what this election proved by how the American people voted is they pay attention. They know what's going on. They know the kind of lifestyle they live every day. And they've seen the lifestyle they've had for the last 3.5 years. So they're not going to buy you saying, hey, I'm campaigning on change, when you've been the person that's the second in charge for the last 3.5 years. And the other thing is, why did the Democratic Party fail? In Troxell's opinion, there wasn't enough engagement, genuine, authentic engagement at the tactical level. By going on popular podcasts or going out and being around regular Americans in a situation that didn't look like it was staged, okay? If it's not authentic and it's not genuine, the American people are going to see through it, and they're going to be like, they're doing this for a show, okay? And then when you use your hateful rhetoric and call your opponent's supporters garbage, and then that opponent uses a garbage truck as a prop, the American people are going to either they're going to have a chuckle at that in a positive way, or they're going to look at the way I did and say, man, that was pretty innovative to be able to do that, you know? So the bottom line is, I think, you know, for the Democratic Party to rebound from this, they really got to do an internal look at themselves. And when you focus on using hateful terms to address people that don't think like you, or you keep focusing on things that really don't matter in terms of diversity, equity, inclusion over capability or performance and things like that, the American people see through it. And regardless of what race or gender or lifestyle they live, they're going to see through it. And in the end, much like what happened in this election, the American people are voting for the candidate that they think will change their life and get them this economy, this nation, on the direction that it should be going on. Okay, we're going to take another quick break. When we come back, we'll finish up with my final segment, and let's talk about the true hatefulness that's going on in this nation post-election. But first, let's hear from our sponsors again.
How you guys doing? I'm Colton Smith, and I'm announcing right now, Downrange Supplements is in your local commissary. If you're anywhere near a base and you have base access, get to the commissary and check out our pre-workout, our rehydration BCA formula, and our protein. I promise you, you will not be disappointed. It is the best in the market, and Listed 9 Fight Company, my brand, is partnered with Downrange Supplements for a reason, and I tell you, their products work. And also, don't forget, we kill suckers.
Hey folks, welcome back. And I'm giving you my thoughts on the election that just occurred, where we have a new president-elect here in the United States of America. This final segment, I want to focus on something that really disturbs me. And it's the level of hate, the level of vile language and focus that comes from people to their family, their friends, to perfect strangers who didn't vote like they did. It is absolutely un-American to spew hate on people because they disagree with you. We are the United States of America. We are the greatest nation on the planet. And we allow the American dream to happen to people that want to come into this country, as long as they come in lawfully and they assimilate into what it means to be an American and everything. But when I hear things, especially from government officials, state officials, politicians, who the minute there's going to be a change of administration, start talking about in negative terms, instead of saying, hey, this is what we're going to do to try and work with the incoming administration to make sure that we're taking care of our constituents back in our state, in our district, or wherever, automatically they're getting combative to the new administration, and they're not even going into office for another 73 days. But when I hear governors saying stuff like, well, if they're going to try and do something that's going to impinge on the rights of my constituents, well, they're going to have to come through me. Come on, man, give me a break, all right? But the bottom line is, what we need now is, how do we continue to support the incoming administration so that we can get unity? We can go in a direction that we need to go. And I see it on social media all the time. People going on there to make these videos that are just crushingly vile comments to people that voted for the president-elect. And those that voted for the president-elect who are making disparaging remarks of people that didn't vote for the president-elect. It is just harmful to our nation, and we got to get through this. I can't believe how families and friendships get fractured over this kind of disagreement, over an election. I can promise you this, that come January 2025, this country is not going to implode, that democracy is still going to reign. And between this new executive branch of the military, along with our judicial branch and our legislative branches, we will have enough checks and balances that we will continue to deliver to the American people the promise of a better future. The American dream will still be alive, and people will continue to be able to go on about their daily lives the way they have through various administrations in the past. Yeah, will things change? Absolutely they will. But in the end, if we are a good American and we are a good person in general, we will accept that change and go on with our lives and continue to get after it. Hey, I will tell you, the current president of the United States, I respect the hell out of him. And I didn't vote for him. But when he was elected into office, he became my president of the United States. And I supported him. Even though there were challenges that went on, and I kind of talked to them earlier in this episode. But in the end, I went about my life, and I did not criticize anybody that disagreed with me. You know, this kind of reminds me, and this is kind of an analogy I have. You know, every year there's a Super Bowl. For you football fans, probably the biggest day of your football life, watching the National Football League Super Bowl. And there's two teams, and they have vast followings on either team. And when the team that you don't like or defeats your team, do you get mad at the people that supported that other team and tell them that they're ugly and you're not my family members anymore, you're not my friends? The bottom line is, we got to get over it. The American people made a decision. There's going to be a new president on the 20th of January. And all of us Americans need to focus on the future instead of being bitter about what happened on November 5th. And if the decision didn't go our way, causing that to just be a downfall for our entire lives. And that's all we focus on. Focus on what you can do in the future. Focus on whatever your purpose is. Have a positive outlook on what's going to happen in the future. And trust me, ladies and gentlemen, the world is not going to end come January 20th, 2025. And you're going to continue to have the same opportunities you have as an American citizen that you've had in the past and for your entire life. Think about the example we are setting for our children if we're allowing a loss in an election to the person we voted for to drive our daily behavior. What are we telling young people? That when things don't go your way, it's okay to be broken down? When I look at these colleges and universities that some are calling it a day of mourning after the election, where their students, the candidate they voted for, didn't get elected, and they're giving them a day off for classes and even giving them safe spaces to mourn. I mean, are we kidding? Losing an election? Do we think that's the toughest thing that these young men and women that are just starting their lives in college and looking to begin careers and families in the future, do we think that is going to be the worst thing they ever face in their life? We've got to be better, and we've got to be stronger. And for any leader out there in academia, in politics, in the military, or wherever, we've got to be better at focusing on building unity from people that will disagree and continuing to focus forward as the United States of America. Okay, I'm going to close by giving my warrior shout out. And the warrior shout out today is not going to go to an individual warrior. It's going to go to the, I'll say, almost 140 million people that voted in this year's election. The 140 million Americans that said, I am going to do my civic duty and I'm going to vote. Regardless of your candidate won or not, you did your duty. And for all of that, all of us that did the same can say thank you. And for me, to all Americans that participated in this election, I salute you and say thank you for doing your civic duty. All right, that's going to be it for today. Thank you all for supporting us. If you like what you see on this show, please subscribe to our page. Drop a few comments on what you'd like to see. I got some outstanding guests coming up on future episodes, and we're going to continue to get after this thing called Leader Talk. God bless you all, and God bless America. Boom.